What is good, Nim fam? Welcome back to the Team Help Ultimate Champion stream. I'm joined by the lovely SpeedyQ. How are you doing, buddy?
Very, very well, thanks, Nim. Not bad at all. Excited to get another stream going on, and obviously discuss about our previous game weeks. Some good news on your side, I hear.
Yeah. So we'll jump straight into that, and we'll kick off with how I got on in Game Week 131. I had a great week, picking up 390 champ. All my players pretty much delivered. Even Leno, despite letting in 4 goals. That's the beauty of this game, isn't it, Speedy?
Massive. Leno brought back memories of his exploits from last season, obviously conceding 4, but I think he made like 9 or 10 saves during that game. So a great score, as you mentioned, for conceding 4 goals, and really consistent performances throughout your team. It was a correct division to enter, and you did well, and a couple of points either way. You could have been the top dog. But a 3rd place, very, very commendable, and always nice to get some champion MGC.
Yeah, it feels nice. I think when you've started with like very little and you've kind of built your team up, it is nice to be on those podium spots because it feels that you're getting somewhere. Of course, I could have had Odegaard in here, but I used him in the other tournament, which I did fairly decent in as well. So got a little bit of champ there. So it's kind of spread the load, spread the cost, and it kind of worked out quite well. So thankfully for that.
It was a great decision, and as you say, all of these little bit of champs, especially if you are saving and looking forward to invest in a player or a pack or whatever it may be, it's nice to see that balance after every game we go up a little bit, whether it's your MGC or whether it's your champ balance. So really, really well done.
Thank you. And with that, it is time for you guys to get a little investment of your own in the silver pack, isn't it, Speedy? So what have they got to do this week?
That's correct. I just wanted to let you know we did the random draw in Discord for last week's silver pack winner. So congratulations, Mystery Man. He was a lucky winner. We had 6 managers from last week that selected Bukayo Saka, and he was our top athlete scorer out of the predictions that were given last week. We're going to keep with the same theme. I think it's exciting to select someone that potentially can score well over the weekend. So which athlete will score the most UC points for game week 133? Please remember to like and subscribe the channel, and remember, only live comments will be considered for the silver pack winner. We want you to watch us and enjoy and engage with us, and obviously share your top athletes for game week 133 live.
Yeah, we want you to get involved and obviously ask questions as well. Give us your opinions on the game week. We love to hear it all, definitely. So before we continue on with that game week 113 where people can win that silver pack for, shall we just have a quick recap on the players we picked out for game week 131?
Most definitely. So the first one we selected was Lubomir Belkor from Zelina, the goalkeeper. He had 2 massive green scores leading up to this match. Unfortunately, Zelina conceded a penalty in the second half, and that obviously cost him the clean sheet. Hence, only the 59 base score that he managed. So managers like me who selected him can consider themselves a little unlucky for that game week. Then bouncing on to Sami Smodic, he continued his goal-scoring form. Not the best UC score in 86 points. Sheffield Wednesday are bouncing a bit. They've had 2 good results in their last 2 fixtures. But he scored well, and I think he'll still be a formidable goal scorer going forward. So we don't need to be too disappointed about the 86 points base score in Ultimate Champions. And then Speedy went and did it, jinxed us last week and selected a do not play. I must say thank you to Roro Hansa. He did warn our listeners in the chat yesterday or last week. So, yes, unfortunately, Piero Hincap, he did not play. The game ended in a 1-1 draw. Piero looked very, very good on the bench. And maybe if Safi played him, they wouldn't have conceded.
Yeah, our first do not play. Oh, lads and lasses, first do not play. But you know what? I think that's good going. We've done a fair few of these streams now, so I think that's fairly decent going.
It's good to get it out of the way, I think, before the festive season,
Yeah.
because there is hordes of football and games coming
Mm.
up, and we know that managers like to start rotating and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just wanted to give some shout outs to people: Chakib, Flip, Chris, David, Cortex, Thinker, Crisscross again. So Legendary is loving the late start times. Dominic, Radu, welcome all, welcome. Thank you so much for joining the stream. Do remember to get those guesses in. I'm not seeing many guesses yet, so that's interesting. Cool. So, where are we at, Speedy?
I think we're going to cover. We did pretty well in our
teams?
team selections.
Yep.
Yes, and the team recap for game week 131. So obviously we went for Hibernian, and they beat Aberdeen 2-0. It was another solid performance by Hibernian, keeping a clean sheet as well. And most athletes for Hibs scored well, with Marshall, Fish, Newell, and Vente being the standouts. We did mention a couple of those last week.
Yep.
Odd final game, obviously for the Eliteserien season. Odd beat already relegated Arlesson 4-1. They thumped them actually, and obviously Ingebrigtsen and Jorgensen, which we mentioned as well, both scored. So they really started coming good at the end of the season. And then finally, Zelina, we had the goalkeeper that we discussed a bit earlier, Balco. They won against Zlata 2-1. Not as comfortable as I think they wanted it, but Juris and Bicola got on the scoreline for them. So the team predictions, we were 3 out of 3, which is fantastic.
That's good. That's good. We kind of redeemed ourselves there on that one.
Most definitely.
Right then. Well, with that, shall we move on to the game week 113 teams to target?
100%. Before we bounce onto that, I just wanted to mention to the community, remember we're moving into a big festive season with lots of football. We're all excited because we love footy, but always keep an eye out on the weather forecast, especially in the English and Scottish areas. This time of season, very, very cold, snow and rain and things like that. Keep an eye, especially with the clubs that don't have underground heating. There's lots of potential postponements that do occur. So try and have some cover on the bench for those 50-50 fixtures. Yeah. Before I go into the game week 133, I just want to mention a couple of matchups, not necessarily for our listeners to select athletes from, but it's top 5 or top of the table clashes. So we've got Zelina in game week 133 against Spartak, which is second versus third in the Slovakian Nike League. They're separated by just 2 points. We've got Peterborough versus Oxford, fifth versus third, separated by 1 point. Their top 6 position is hotting up in League One, so there could be some changes after this game week. Aston Villa versus Arsenal. Aston Villa's amazing victory last night, playing some great football. They've moved up to third on the log. Arsenal obviously sitting first, so it'll be a cracker on the game week to watch that game. We've got Nice versus Reims, which is second versus fifth in the French League One. Stuttgart versus Leverkusen, which is third versus first. CFR versus FCSB, which is second versus first. Barcelona versus Girona, third versus second. And lastly, Portsmouth versus Bolton, first versus second. So those are the picks of the games to potentially watch because they are top of the table clashes, which is quite exciting. What we did, though, for our top three teams is we didn't focus on the best teams with the records, but potentially teams that are having a good run of late. So our first one is Sheffield Wednesday
Mm-hmm.
in the English Championship. You can see their stats and their record not the best. They are currently bottom of the log and sit at the foot of the championship table. However, they have seven of their 10 points this season has been earned under their new manager, which is Danny Roll. Their last two results, a commendable 1-1 draw with Leicester, and an amazing 3-1 victory against Blackburn Rovers, the previous outing, has brought some positivity to their situation. And it's also a testament, obviously, to the work that the new manager and the players are putting in. December will be a very important time for Wednesday. And with the recent performances, I'm confident they can get a result on the weekend. George Byers, if fit, Josh Windass, and Barry Bannon are three athletes who have performed admirably, and they are potential candidates to put in your team. Our thumb, Will Vokes, we'll chat a little bit later regarding them. So Sheffield Wednesday, like I say, after the last two games, really looking to kick off a bit, and December can be very important to help them try and climb out of that relegation zone.
Yeah.
Then we'll move on to Bristol Rovers, English League One. They've lost only one match in their last 6 League One fixtures and sit mid-table. They have also had 2 postponements, obviously, during this period due to the weather that we mentioned a bit earlier that can impact fixtures. They have a very enticing match up against Cheltenham, and Cheltenham are currently sitting bottom of the log. So what I would say, the likes of Anthony Evans, Chris Martin, Jack Hunt, etc., Aaron Collins, which we'll chat about just now, are potential selections as well from that team for game week 133. And last but not least, Toulouse. Yes, they are no longer affiliated with us, but we have a lot of their players and athletes within the game because of their previous license. They also don't have the best record. However, they play bottom of the table Lyon this weekend. They have a decent defensive record and have become draw masters this season. It will be a tight match, but I think players such as Nicolaisen, Desla, and their keeper Desma could be great potential athletes for your lineup as well.
Not that we may or may have already put him in my lineup. I just wanted to touch upon what Speedy has said there, guys. It is 4:45 here in the UK and it is pitch black. Do bear in mind with the weather, we haven't had any snow here down south, but Scotland tends to get a good flurry, so they'd be the leagues I'd be mostly worried about. And as Speedy said, maybe some of the lower teams as well that, don't have the kind of warming the pitch and stuff for any frozen pitches. We have kind of had our cold snap though. Whether or not that'll continue, we'll have to wait and see, but do keep your eyes open for that. Just before we carry on with the players there, Speedy, just wanted to go back to our chat. We're getting a lot of guesses in now. It's a lot of Niska guesses happening. A few Arsenal guesses, which I'm a little surprised about, given we're up against Villa this week. So yeah, Gundo guess. Bobby's late. Welcome, Bobby. No worries. Yeah, good few guesses.
It will be a tough game against Aston Villa. They really playing great football, but touch wood, and we showed midweek as well a tough fixture away to Luton. We managed to come over the line thanks to old Decky's last gasp goal. So it will be really exciting. And like I say, even if you invest or play your midfield to attack players for Arsenal, I think they could score well, because I think it'll be a potentially high-scoring, entertaining game.
Yeah, I will not tell you the swear words that came out of my mouth during that match. It's the sort of thing where it's a little embarrassing because everyone just assumed we would absolutely steamroller that match. I was seeing on Twitter 5-0, 4-0, that sort of thing. So yeah, to kind of have Luton come at us like that.
Yeah, Luton's ground and playing Luton away has been a hoodoo for Arsenal. I think I don't know in how long, but it's the first time we've claimed a victory there in a very, very long time.
And that is the main thing, is that we still came away with the victory, with the W. Cool. Okay, game week 113 players. Let's do it.
So we'll start off with, I think, an unsung hero who's just recently started getting some full game time for Sheffield Wednesday, which is Will Vokes. I would say he's been the catalyst for Wednesday's recent change in form. In his last 3 outings, he has UC scores of 127, 151, and 218 points. He wasn't in a permanent fixture in the beginning of the season, leading up to, I would say, the last 3 or 4 games. But he solidified his place. He also obtained an assist against Blackburn in the previous game. And what sets him apart from the rest, no matter how Sheffield Wednesday perform and whether they concede or not, he scores very well with his possessive and defensive contributions, depending on where they play him, because he is a very, very versatile player. So if he does get a clean sheet or he does get an assist or a goal, you will get those massive 200 UC scores. And I think with them in quite some good form in the last 2 games, they will carry that over into the game over the weekend as well, which will be quite exciting. Then on to Aaron Collins. He hasn't had as a greater season as he had last season. Last season, I think he was up there near the top goal scorers in the league. He has turned a bit provider, though, you can see with these 5 assists. And he's bound to come good sooner or later. So for game week 133, as I said, they are playing bottom of the table Cheltenham. I would suggest that you put him in, and it could be the game week that he smashes and potentially gets a couple or maybe even 3. So let him loose and see what he does for your team. Last but not least, and we'll cover the French connection, Stin Spearings. So he was released on a free transfer at the beginning of this season from Toulouse to Lens. But obviously after him not getting much game time at Lens, he's moved back to Toulouse. He's gradually started improving with his UC performances since he's been back at Toulouse, and he's again another solid heart of the midfield type player. Also has great possessive and defensive points. Doesn't score many goals, but he does get up into the box at times. And his last week, he scored 188 points on UC. So I think against bottom of the table, Leon, who's really not playing great football at the moment, potential for some good scores in game week 133 as well. Just surrounding these 3, I had a look a bit earlier today on the marketplace. There are epics around about all of them. So if you want to look into them and have a look, please go and have a look. There are a couple sprinkled on the marketplace.
I like that. Jack, just to fill you in, highest scorer is for Silver Pack, and I have started a Q&A, although I forgot the R on yours, so, you know. Who are you captaining in your league this week? Let me know. Just interested to know. Think it's a fun one to get involved with. Cool. Yeah, I'm loving those. Definitely going to go have a little look on the old market in a bit there, Speedy, and see if there's, although I'm still kind of between that and saving up some of my champs. So, right, okay, let's move on a little bit here. And I'm currently doing okay in this midweek slot. I'm sat in 9th in the UC Tier 1, but I thought you guys might like to see how I'm currently lining up for Game Week 113. First of all, this is my UC Tier 1. I'm still deciding on what route to take to get my first mythic so that I can move up into the kind of pros and stuff with this tournament. But so this is the kind of route I'm taking to enter the UC Tier 1 this week. I've got Leno as my goalkeeper. I'll just scroll down for you guys to be able to see that. Kunde in defence was very much like torn between the Barcelona defenders. Palacios is my captain. That one is a bit set and forget there with Speedy. Odegaard was kind of torn between Odegaard and Saka, but Ode is my mythic, so my epic, sorry. So yeah, went with Ode. And Ito has just been ticking away nicely, so hopefully he can continue to do good things for me. And yeah, we're just giving it another bite of the cherry here, aren't we, Speedy?
It's a really strong team that you've set out again, and as mentioned, it's in the same tournament division that we entered last week, where you ended third. Last week we did play Saka Common, nothing against that. He scored, but putting Odegaard Epic in, which has a little higher percentage than a common card, as all of you should know. And yes, they have a tough game against Aston Villa, but Odegaard was really pulling the strings, especially in that last 20 minutes midweek, and potentially he could be the difference on the weekend. As you said, Palacios, perma captain, he hasn't been scoring or assisting, but even without that, he scores massively. I like Konda. I think Barcelona have potentially turned a corner with that Champions League victory they had, and then the victory against Atletico Madrid. Yes, they have a tough fixture against Girona, which is playing out of their skins this season, but with them being at home, that's why we'll give Kunda the nod. And Leno, I mean, Fulham won 5-0 midweek as well. Leno scored well again in the current game week that ends tomorrow. So I think that is a really strong team. The two commons we put on the bench is just to cover, just in case something happens that we aren't aware of. So I think it's a great team and potentially turning the third into first.
He is hoping. And I'll just stick the other slide up a second here while I go over to the Diversity Cup setup. So we had some success the first time around with this Diversity Cup, or a couple of times we played it actually. So we decided to give it another bounce, didn't we?
That's it. We had a little look where we should put our strongest team in for the 11 side, because obviously you did pretty well in the Ultimate Champions beginner division last week as well. But looking at the rewards, the beginner is slightly less per place than the Diversity Cup. So what we did is we threw most of your remaining epics into the Diversity Cup. Obviously, keeper-wise, we have Desma. I think they'll do very well this weekend against Strasbourg. Then we've got a strong defense. I think that is a very strong defense, especially having 4 epics. You've got Myers, who's consistent, Araju consistent, Lloris, Helik, and then obviously Edwards common. Whether you've got his common or epic, he scores massively well, 200s nearly every game week. Midfield,
maybe not
Jack
now
Clark,
that I've captained him though.
No, don't worry. He's quite consistent. They do have a tough game. As I mentioned, it's fifth place versus third, but they are 1 point behind him. They are really playing great football, and I think with it being a home encounter, it potentially gives them a little nod in that fixture. So potentially a tight one, potential of a clean sheet, and if we captain him, you never know what could happen. Dougal, Chipchu playing very consistently for Blackpool and Cluj. And then obviously striker, we've got Gab. Gab's fresh off a goal. He wasn't really scoring up until the game against Luton, so happy he's off the mark. Hopefully he continues. And then Dembele, who's put a couple of great performances in for Blackpool as well.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this one. I do like the Diversity Cup, so I'm hoping I can get a little something from this. So I like. Yep.
Just to everyone that knows, Diversity Cup, obviously you can only select one athlete per team.
Yep.
If you go over and above that, a penalty is obviously imposed on that specific athlete, 25%, 50%, and so forth.
Yeah. And that's what makes it fun, I think, is that you have to choose from lots of different teams. So you can't be kind of, all those Barcelona cards we bought, can't be going all in on those. I've had a question from So Legendary. Says, as a recent new user, what 3 tips would you give to other new users joining now? What 3 tips would you give to UC regarding what they should look to improve to help new users? Ooh, wow, that's a loaded question. So the first 3 tips I would give to new users are make sure you join to Discord, because anyone who plays FPL knows how invaluable Twitter is to the FPL community. It is exactly the same for Discord and the Ultimate Champions community. So I would definitely say, if you're not, get joined up to Discord now, because there's a lot of help there and you can ask the community anything and they're really helpful. So definitely I would say Discord, join Discord. I would say focus on one tournament. So I would only invest in packs and things for one tournament initially that you've got the most players from, and I would kind of focus on that. That seems to have done well for me, hasn't it, Speedy? Just kind of focusing on a couple and then sprinkling the rest around when I, with whatever I've got left, pretty much. And in some of the weeks that's turned out good, and some of those weeks it hasn't really brought very much, but that's worked out well. So that's what I would say. I would say, if you're new, just focus your collection and your card buying and stuff into one tournament initially. And then, if you get other cards off of the back of, winning some in your league and things like that, then you can kind of spread your others elsewhere. And what would the third tip be? Always watch this channel is what I would say.
That's 100% correct. Now, just to elaborate a little bit more on it, for any new user joining, obviously it can be daunting. Obviously, you've got to draft your team in the beginning. Once you start, you've then got to go and have a look which divisions, which tournaments you want to enter. So as you rightly mentioned, make sure you are in Discord so you can chat to the community. There is a whole bunch of the community that is really, really helpful within the Discord channel. We have specific channels regarding transfers, injuries, scouting, whatever that may be. We have a Play Sharper website, which obviously gives you predicted lineups for all of the leagues and the UC teams that we cover, so that can be of great assistance. We have UC Helper, which is continuously growing and enabling new features where you can go and have a look now what marketplace fees were for certain athletes. They've even now recently added auction prices, so what athletes went on auctions. But the most important is speak to the community, build a relationship with people within the community. You've got DMs out of the normal channels where you can discuss things, and people are really, really helpful imparting information and wisdom through to the various regarding the various tournaments, divisions, and how to basically progress. I think a lot of people, it all depends. You'll get someone coming in that wants to spend, then have a look at a UC Helper, have a look at the marketplace, make your decision. If you are free to play and want to start that, expect a grind. I was very similar when I started with Ultimate Champions way in the beginning. I grinded, and with the packs, with cards, I sold, I bought, I sold, and reinvested within UC, and I've built my collection to where it is. So grind, and don't think everything's going to happen overnight, especially if you're free to play. Grind as you've done them, get to a certain stage, and as you're earning the MGC, as you're earning the champ, then you can start obviously opening up packs and strengthening that collection.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's the grind, and that's kind of the fun bit. At the beginning, it feels a bit arduous, but it's also the fun bit, because I think it's where you learn about some of the players and the teams. Like I still know, like, not even a fraction of what what Speedy knows about some of these players, but I have learned a lot in grinding. It's because a player has come out of these cards out of my pack, or have been given them as part of a win for a tournament or whatever, and I've gone and I've looked them up and found out about them. So yeah, it's definitely in the grind where you learn to play the game, that's for sure. did have another question here. Do you think it's worth buying a do not play mythic just to enter the pro tournaments? That's an interesting question. I have thought about it myself, Speedy, so I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
It can assist, especially if you get it. I mean, what is it? Do not play mythic. Potentially, you could get it for around $20 on the marketplace. And if you think you have a strong enough epics to compete in that specific division, then I don't have an issue with it. What we must remember is, yes, mythics outscore epics by percentage. However, if a mythic has a bad game and an epic has a good game, an epic can beat a mythic, no problem. So you would need to, obviously, when entering that tournament, you would play or do not play mythic, and you would have your epics on the bench that would obviously come in for it. So if you cannot go out and with your MGC and get one of those gold packs that guarantees you, whether it's an underdog, a starter, or a star mythic, then and you want to compete in the higher pro divisions, go and get a do not play, put your $20 on it, and give it a bash, and then take it from there. I know that I have in the past on certain tournaments, and a lot of other managers can say the same, beaten certain managers who potentially have played a unique against your mythic. It can happen. It all just depends on the game week and how those athletes are performing.
Absolutely. That's good. That's good bit of advice there. Absolutely. We had Crypto Sparky in the chat. Hey, buddy. Ronnie Edwards for the win. I do hope so, buddy. I do hope so as my captain. Just a question for Speedy. So this is going to lead us on to our next segment, Speedy. And that is, could you explain the affiliate program a little bit more, please?
100%. I'm so glad we made this slide. So yes, on the affiliate program. So obviously this week we released the Ultimate Champions affiliate program. So what that basically does is it gives an opportunity for our community to become an affiliate of Ultimate Champions. So what they will then do is, obviously, as you can see on the slide, on the image, you would go to our third party, which is Monetize. They obviously run and look after and manage the affiliates. The nice thing about it is you can earn as an affiliate for the amount of people that you refer, and get affiliated with Ultimate Champions. 20% return on auction sales, and that's whether it's yourself or whether it is anyone that you have basically referred. And then also you can get 20% of our total fees, which is around 3% of the marketplace card sale price, because remember, there are buyer and seller fees involved. So what you would basically do is you would click on that link, you would put some information on where you're going to potentially market, like Twitter or Discord or YouTube, what social media platforms. That information will then be sent to us or through Monetize, and then from there we would then be able to validate you. Once validated, you will have your own Monetize dashboard. What that dashboard will do is it'll keep you in the loop of what you have potentially started to earn, what new users have joined, and it will give you your special affiliate link to assist with all of that tracking. That affiliate link you can then share on social media platforms, and obviously if people click on it and start to join, that's how the snowball effect happens. So really exciting. I think the way they've set it out for the rewards and the percentages for the affiliate is very rewarding. And it's good to try something like this and get new users onboarded to Ultimate Champions, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I think that kind of ties into a bit of what So Legendary was saying about, what tips can you give regarding to improve to help new users. This sort of thing really helps with that. It gets the word out there, and it can give you some returns which can help grow your small collection and things like that. So yeah, I think it's a real helpful one, and excited to get signed up and be part of the program myself. Should be a lot of fun. Right, guys. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. We've got loads of guesses now, so gonna have your work. Pushkar's gonna have his work cut out for him collecting all of those for the for the wheel or whatever it is we're doing now to choose the winner. So yeah, you've got a few more seconds to get any more guesses in, guys. Welcome Chris to the, I think it was Chris. Yeah, welcome Chris to the NimFam. Thank you so much for joining. Do make sure that you are liked and subscribed to the channel. Next week, we think will be our last one, potentially before Christmas, right, Speedy? So make sure.
14th, I think, of December, 14th? I think will potentially be our last one, yeah. Just to give everyone time to do their Christmas shopping and enjoy the festivities, but we'll be watching from afar. As you know, there's massive football coming up over Christmas. Very exciting time for everyone. Loads of game weeks coming thick and fast straight after each other. Especially, I love Christmas. I love spending it with the family. But when it hits Boxing Day, leading into the early New Year, that is really footy frenzy and footy crazy for myself. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking, I still have my wild card in FPL, and I was just looking about when I might use it. And there was a lot of chat about the kind of around the blank game week. And I thought, oh, that would mean using it on Christmas Day. And I was thinking, I can think of nothing worse than thinking about football or FPL on Christmas Day. Come Boxing Day, however, I'm absolutely happy to be all in on the football. So I'm really excited for that.
I think the best part is that all the cooking gets done on Christmas Eve, if you're going to have a cold meal on Christmas Day or on Christmas Day itself. And from Boxing Day, obviously, because we've cooked so much, it's just sandwiches and mustard and cold meats and things like that, and footy. So that is just amazing.
and a little tipple as well.
Of course.
Welcome, Jean. We're just about to head off, buddy. Joined us right at the end there, but thank you all so much for supporting. Thank you all for subscribing. And yes, we will be back with you around the same sort of time again next week, and it should be our last one before Christmas. So do make sure you come and join us. So for now, it's a goodbye from me and a goodbye from Speedy. Take care. Nymphria out.
Feels like I'm caught up in a trance. Can't come down all night. The city never stood a chance. With you by my side, it's all ours. So don't second guess. Let down your guard. Just take a chance. I feel the hours ticking down. Wish I could turn it all around, but in my mind we're frozen perfectly in time. Can we turn back the night and stay in this dream for repeat? Can we turn back the night and stay in this dream for repeat?